Today we're going to talk about Worksheet 6, and this corresponds with what you're doing in your statistics where you're dealing with uniform probability. And so one of the things that you need to know dealing with uniform probability is you have to know the area of a rectangle. You're given a rectangle, and notice you have the area formula, length times width. And it says in this problem example, find the area of the rectangle below where the length is 10 feet and the width is 6 feet. And so what's happening is we have, this is 6, this is 10. That means this is 10 and this is 6. If it asks you to find, first of all, this one asks you to find the area. The area is just multiplying these two things together, 10 times 6. But the thing is, you have to remember that when you deal with area, your measurement has to have a square written on it, because what it's doing is dividing this rectangle up into 10 parts and then 6 parts, and then you're counting the number of squares. That's how you find the area. So notice the answer to this would be 60 square feet. So they're going to ask you to practice doing this on your first one. They're going to ask you to find the area, and then the next one they're going to ask you, notice it says you have a rectangular room is 9 feet. The area of the room is 108 feet, 5 feet squared. Find the length of the room. So in this, they're going to have you use your formula, area equals length times width. They're going to give you the width, which is 9, so I'm going to write that under here. Then they're going to give you the area, which is 108. I'm going to put 108. And then they ask you to find the length, so I'm going to put an L. Now, to solve algebraically, anything that's being multiplied, to remove this 9, it's being multiplied, I have to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So I'll draw a line under this side. Whatever I do to this side of the equal, I have to come over here and do it to this side. Whoops, I forgot my 9 there. There we go. So then these are going to cross out, and then to get your answer, then you'll have to divide 108 by 9. It's hard to see. Let me fix that again. Okay, so 108 divided by 9, and then if you're finding your length, then you're going to be using just feet. So that's the first page of this. Okay, the next page, notice it's going to talk about a uniform distribution in statistics, and that's what you're doing in Unit 3 in this. So notice they're going to go through and they're going to give you an example of a uniform distribution. Notice in this one, your length is from 0 to 30. That means our length is 30. To find the width, notice in a uniform distribution, the area is always 1. So what happens is our width is always 1 divided by our length. So in this, our width is 1 over 30. Okay, and then they go through and they have you actually work some problems. So you can read through these. It reviews some of the things about probability. All your probabilities must add up to 1. All your probabilities have to be greater than, or have to be between 0 and 1 inclusively. So you can read that part. They've got you another problem where they mark off, they have an area. What they want you to do is find the area of the green rectangle. So you'll have to find your length between 20 and 10 and multiply times 1 over 30, which is your width. They give you another example, okay? And in this one, they're actually giving you the probability and asking you to find the length. This is like what we just did, because probability corresponds to area. So you'll put your probability as your area. Your width is 1 over 30, and then you'll have to find the length. It goes through this problem down here at the bottom, so you can go through that. And then finally, you have some problems that you'll need to work. Now, what's going to happen in all these, they're going to ask you to draw the picture. Every one of these you should draw. Now, if you can't figure out how to draw on these and upload them and all those things. You can work this page, take a picture of it, and upload it to the Dropbox. Each page that you work, if you want to do that, upload each page to the Dropbox where you've drawn out the pictures. But notice in this, what's the probability your friend will be more than 8 minutes late? Before you start, you got to remember we're still using the same rectangle we had on the previous page that goes from 0 to 30. So let's mark this off. So we'll put a 0, 30. The width is always 1 over the length, so my width is 1 over 30. So then you're going to mark off where x is greater than or equal to 8. So you're just going to come and mark off an 8 somewhere on this. It doesn't have to be real accurate. But if it's greater than, it means it's shaded here. And what they want you to do is find this area. So you'll have to use your area formula. You'll have to find your length between 30 and 8. You'll have to subtract those two and then multiply times the 1 over 30. You'll go through and do each one of these. Now, on part C, it asks you, what's the probability your friend is more than 30 minutes late? Let's look at this. Here's your picture. We got 0, we got 30. It asks you to tell greater than 30. Well, that's not even in the box. So what is your probability? You figure that one out. Notice then they give you one, what's 50%? That there is a 50% chance that your friend will arrive within the next how many minutes? Remember, the 50 would be the area, 0.50. Your width is 1 over 30, and you're trying to find your length. So, and you can think about what 50% of 30 would be. Then this last one's kind of a trick question. Notice, what is the probability your friend will be exactly 15 minutes late? If you draw that out. Now remember, we're always doing the area corresponds to the probability. Well, there's not an area here. This is 0 to 30. And notice that's 15. There's no shaded area. So the probability that they're exactly 15 minutes late, that would be a 0.